Coming up right now on Lifestyle Magazine, menopause. The symptoms range from mild hot flashes to major temper tantrums, but help is on the way. New treatments are making a big difference for many women, and we're here to tell you about them. And now, the hosts of Lifestyle Magazine, Mike and Gail Tucker.
Welcome, everyone. Dr. Becky Chang is with us to help demystify menopause. We say welcome to you, Dr. Chang.
Thank you.
She is the author of a recently released book entitled Menopause. And Dr. Chang, I have to tell you, I have no clue why I'm here. I feel very uncomfortable being here talking about this subject, but here we go anyway. So maybe you could tell us, what is menopause?
Well, first let me say I'm so glad you're here, Mike, because Gail needs you, and we want all the men in America to understand what menopause is, because 50 million women are now in postmenopause.
Everybody's going to face it at some point, right?
Right. And the question about when you face it is a little bit troubling for some women, because the average age of menopause is 51. But you can start into the menopause transition in your early 40s, and that can go on for several years, and that's a really hard time.
So what is the menopause transition? What does that look like?
That starts when you start getting heavier periods, shorter cycles, PMS, irritable, depressed. You don't know why the kids are bothering you so much. And it just comes kind of without warning.
Oh, okay.
And you're saying that can be up to 8 or 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my.
It doesn't seem quite fair, does it?
No, it doesn't. And the actual menopause itself is 12 months after your very last period of your life.
So after the last period, it lasts 12 months, is what we would call menopause.
So that's actual
No,
menopause.
the period doesn't last 12
well,
months.
but after the last period, menopause itself lasts 12 months. Okay.
Everything else is pre-menopausal.
Right.
So what are the symptoms of menopause then, other than period stopping?
Well, we're going to have 3 friends of mine who are going to tell us about the symptoms, and that's what everyone needs to know. You know, what are the symptoms? What can you do about them? And there are so many myths out there.
Well, tell us about that. I mean, I've heard so many different things about menopause and going through it and what it is, what it isn't. Most of it is stuff that you hear just from magazines, maybe from friends, maybe from, you know, maybe your mother or whatever. But what are the myths?
Well, one of the myths is that estrogen is going to cure you of urinary incontinence, leaky bladder. In fact, it can make it worse. Another one is that estrogen is going to help your sex drive. And that's not true either. It can actually worsen it. Testosterone is what you need for your sex drive. I'm sure you know that, Mike.
It explains a lot.
Yeah. And the other myth is that every woman is going to have hot flashes. About 60 to 75% of women will have hot flashes that are really troubling. You know, that wake them up at night, leave them drenched in sweat, that when they're teaching or whatever their job is, that all of a sudden they break out in a big sweat and red and everybody's staring at them.
Have to actually change clothes. I mean, it just gets that bad sometimes. But not everybody will have that?
Not everyone will have that, but about 75% of women will have that to some degree or another. And only 10% of women actually will have menopause, will have hot flashes that last for years. Most women, after the first 3 or 4 years, the incidence will go down.
Well, what about the estrogen? I mean, why is there such a myth about that? Do a lot of people take it? Do they ask for it?
Well, the thing with this is, until the Women's Health Study, and the NIH paid lots of money for that, and it was a 10-year study, we thought that estrogen was good for your heart. We knew that estrogen was always bad for breast cancer, but we thought it helped your memory and prevented Alzheimer's. We thought it helped with incontinence, et cetera, et cetera. And then everything got turned upside down, and women go, well, what are we going to do?
Right.
Well, I think that's one of the frustrating things about health information, because you'll hear one thing one day, and it seems like the next day you hear the exact opposite.
And this book is really for physicians, because that's where women need to find a physician, and it can be a male physician, But they need someone who understands what the best information is, and most importantly, they need to listen to the woman. What are her individual needs?
And what's the best way to find that physician?
Well, I think when you go, Gail, and see a doctor, if they're not listening to you and they want to write a prescription, let me just give you some estrogen, honey. Then you need to walk out.
Yeah. Well, I have encountered the kind of pat you on the head type of physicians, and that really isn't helpful.
No, someone needs to know, what are your symptoms? What have you tried for them? What is your family history? Is there any breast cancer risk in there? Did your mother have a hip fracture or, get all hunched over from osteoporosis? There are many questions like that that your doctor needs to find out from you in great detail.
So what are the treatments? What do you do for people who are going through menopause?
Well, this is another myth that one size fits all.
Okay.
For instance, a lot of women want to do soy or black cohosh or other herbs. And the latest studies, of course, say, oh, that doesn't really work for hot flashes. But I have dozens of patients who say, I started using soy and my hot flashes went away. Or I started taking black cohosh or flaxseed oil. And you know what? If it works for them and there's no harm from any of those things, then I say, that's great. So you don't want a physician to say, no, the only thing that works is estrogen.
Yeah. So there's not a standard treatment package to give someone who's going through this?
There isn't. And the consensus now is that if your hot flashes are really disabling, you're not sleeping, you're about to have your spouse leave you because you're really depressed or irritable, then, you can use hormones, if nothing else has worked, for the shortest period at the lowest dose possible.
Well, a lot more questions that I would have, such as how would a husband survive this, but we can't get to that right now. In just a moment, we're going to meet three ladies who will talk about their personal experiences with menopause. We'll be right back.
Hello. The job market is a competitive place. In today's economy, extra skills mean a better job for you. Speaking English is the skill you need for greater opportunity, more money, and a brighter future. Introducing Hello Channel, an exciting new television channel that teaches English as you watch TV. There's something for everyone, and the more you watch, the faster you'll learn. All you have to do is say hello.
Joining us now are three delightful women. At the far side of the couch over here is Susie. In the middle of the couch is Krista, and closest to us is Patty. We would like to welcome the three of you here to Lifestyle Magazine.
Thank you.
I understand that we have a different experience for each of you right now in your process through this part of life. And Krista, I'm going to pick on you first.
Thank you.
Yes.
Let's get that over with.
Okay. I understand that you're right in the midst of this whole experience. Is that right?
Not only am I in the midst of it, but I'm having a hot flash right now. Yes.
Even as we speak.
Yes.
Can we get you a fan?
Please. I'm just shy of my 51st birthday.
Okay.
So I'm right at the right age.
Right on schedule.
I think I began with the fluctuations in my menstruation at the age of 48. So I haven't had a really bad time of it.
Too long.
However, now it's to the point where I'm having the night sweats where I'm just drenched. The first hour at night in bed, I'm just soaked. And the depression, the weight gain, hair loss, thank you.
Memory loss.
Memory loss is a part of this, isn't it?
That was probably the first to go.
Okay. Well, it's good. Oh, go ahead,
Well, I was
doctor.
going to say, actually with Krista, a lot of people don't know that heat, so like the studio floodlights,
Right.
and being anxious will trigger a hot flash.
So we've got both of those things happening right now
Yeah.
for
So
you.
it's not just spontaneous, but
No.
there are actual things that can trigger it.
Well,
trigger
as
this.
well as
Physical.
spontaneous. Yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes you just don't even know what's going to happen. But when you get when you get in bed at night, if you got too many covers on. Somebody told me if you put your feet out from under the covers that will make a difference. Does that help?
That helps if you're not really hot flashing, but in a true hot flash,
Forget it.
forget it. You are wearing nothing and you're still soaking wet, and you are miserable. You could be in the bathtub in cold water and you'd still be miserable because it's from the inside out.
So it really isn't going to make a difference.
Susie, where are you in this whole experience?
Well, I think I've been going through it for about 6 years. I'm 56. I think 50 was the turning point.
Okay.
It was, they throw the book at you at 50.
At 50.
And, but that was when I started, and I haven't had a lot of problems because I think, well, I've been using the progesterone cream.
Okay.
The natural progesterone cream. And so I've been using that for quite a while because I knew it was good for building bone density and a lot of other things.
And you think that's helped you a lot?
I started that way before I went through menopause. And so I wasn't expecting any problems. And for the most part, I haven't had any. I haven't had a big, mild hot flashes, but nothing serious. I also think it might have something to do with the plant-based diet that I've been on for decades.
And that has helped you?
Yeah, I think that's probably helped a lot with that. I'm one of the few people I think that really need estrogen, but in small amounts. And I'm not into estrogen. I was on some bioidentical hormones, which I think is the good way to go if you have to have some.
We say that you can try using vaginal estrogen. There are tablets and there are estrogen creams and estrogen rings, because then you don't get the absorption and raise your risk of breast cancer and heart disease just to apply it locally. Did you try that?
So I went on the bioidentical hormones because nothing else nobody else could help me. I knew I didn't want to go on the regular hormones. So I found the doctor that was into alternative therapies, and he got me on the bioidentical hormones, and that took care of the problem. But then even though it was supposed to be a healthier way to go, I gained weight. So I didn't really like that plan so well.
Yeah,
so
one of the most frustrating things for women.
So I kind of weaned myself off the bioidentical hormones and went back to the natural progesterone cream. But the doctor also gave me the vaginal cream that Becky mentioned, that you use 3 times a week.
Okay.
And so that's very helpful. And then if people have to, if women in my situation feel like they need more, I think in the book, what your doctor may not tell you about menopause, I believe he mentions that you could take a small dose of estrogen if you needed, but he said in most cases, the author said in most cases that the cream, the vaginal cream and the progesterone cream would work. I also find I'm using some herbal supplements like black cohosh, Hesperian, Panax, a blend of those things. I've been experimenting for many years.
Well, Patty, where are you in this whole process? I'm cured. You're cured? Wonderful. How did that happen?
I was one of the early ones, about 44. Age 44, my daughter was 7. And I had the irritability. I wanted to
strangle people?
Sometimes.
Yes.
And I'm a pretty up person. And I noticed about age 44, for about 3 weeks, I was very depressed. Depression hit me just like that. And I became very depressed, didn't leave the house for like 3 weeks. I had to go down and feed the horses, but I drug myself back up. I noticed that I was up at night walking around, couldn't sleep. And then when it was time to get up, I'm usually up at 5 o'clock in the morning to read, I'd get up and drag myself downstairs and just put my head on the counter. I was exhausted. I felt like a truck hit me.
And it was all a real sudden onset.
That was a sudden onset, and I had severe headaches, and I don't usually have headaches. I had every symptom in the book. It just seemed like it hit me at once. The depression, the headaches. I was actually having hair loss too. I have very, very thick hair, and my hair was coming out in my hands.
Oh my. Irritability and all those other things all hit you at once.
What did you think was going on?
Oh, and I was
only 44 years old.
I was only 44, and I was irregular too, which I was always on the clock. So I didn't know, because I was 44, so I really never thought about menopause. And so I finally was going to ask my husband if I can just go ahead and go on birth control pills to straighten up my cycle. And it happened to be that day that I asked him if I can go ahead and start them. Susie calls me up and says, why don't you come over and bring the kids swimming? I go, oh, no, I don't feel like it. You know, Susie's pretty, pushy. Patty, you just need to come over and bring the kids swimming. And so I went over there, and I told her that I was going to go ahead and start on birth control because I was just a mess. She goes, oh, no. I want you to try this natural progesterone cream. And I was ready to do anything. And so when I went ahead and started taking the cream, and really within days, the depression started lifting.
Well, that's great.
Wow.
And it's nice that you've come through it at this point, and you've got some,
it took care of
some
every
encouragement
symptom.
to share with others as well. Well, we're going to have more from these ladies right after this short break.
Children can learn English by watching Hello Channel.
Welcome back. Our topic today is menopause.
Now, Patty, I'm interested to know, because you said that when you tried the progesterone cream that all of your symptoms went away.
They did.
It was just like a miracle overnight.
Well, okay, not
hot
overnight.
Flashes, depression. Tell us about
Actually, I didn't start hot flashes till a couple of years after menopause, which actually menopause happened to me at age 47.
Okay.
So at 44, I started the cream, and all these other symptoms did go away. You know, within a month, everything was gone. The book that Susie mentioned, if you have a lot of these symptoms, he asks to wait, you know, within 3 months, all your symptoms to go away. Mine really did go away within a month. And I mean, I felt like 20 again. It was unbelievable. I was regular.
I remember that when I asked you about it later, you said within a week that you had improved so much. So dramatically in the first week, if I remember right.
Oh, yeah,
and then gradually over the next month.
Right, because another symptom is skin problems, acne. I never had acne as a teenager. Absolutely never had it. And all of a sudden, you know, in my late 30s and early 40s, I'm getting... I was like, what is this?
That's not fair, is it?
Oh, right between the eye, you know. You're going to work. And that, within a week, those are gone. And I've never had any more.
So it's like a miracle.
Well, that's why
Becky, tell us why.
Well, the transition is so hard because your hormones are all over the place. And the very first hormone to drop is progesterone. And then estrogen starts dropping, and that's why her hot flashes actually came later, and her actual period stopped three years later. But not all women have such a dramatic response, although Krista maybe had last night.
Yeah, tell us about that. I understand that you did some experimentation with this cream last night. Is
I
that
did.
Right?
When I met these two, I couldn't wait to try this progesterone cream. And when I told Patty about my night sweats and my hot flashes and how bad they were, she said, well, why don't we try some tonight? So last night I tried it for the first time. And for the first time in 2 years, I did not have night sweats or a hot flash all night long. I slept all night.
You're kidding.
No, I woke up.
So
That was wonderful.
one application, and it changed something that's been going on for 2 years.
So I know it's directly related to the progesterone cream.
Oh, well, there wouldn't be any doubt about that, would there?
So I'll be using that for the rest of my life.
So for the woman out there that's going, get me some of that right now, how do they do that? How do they get that cream? Is it prescription?
As far as the creams go, no, it's not prescription, but there's a lot of different types of progesterone cream on the market. And if you go to the health food stores, there's too many of them. But they're all different. They have different dosages. And the one that is recommended in the book, What Your Doctor May Not Tell You About Menopause, is the one that has 480 milligrams per ounce. Right, Patty?
Yeah, so you need 15 to 20 milligrams a day. But if you're having periods, you take it 2 weeks out of the month. You start at your 12th day. From the day you had started your period, you count 12 days, and you take it on the 12th day for 14 days. And then you quit, and within 2 to 3 days, you start your period. If you're post-menopause, you take it for 3 weeks out of the month, because that was your natural.
That would be what your body would normally do.
Yeah, when you make progesterone when you were younger.
And you put like a 1/4 teaspoon?
Well, it depends. It depends on what the bottle says, but some bottles are 1/4 teaspoon, some's an 1/8 of a teaspoon, there's pumps, but you want to make sure that it's a brand that has 20 milligrams per pump or scoop or whatever brand you find.
Now, one thing that I think is important for the viewers to know is that not everyone will have as dramatic a response as both Krista and Patty. And so it's important, though, not to give up. There are many things that you can also try, like black cohosh, and it may not take care of all of your symptoms. Exercise is really important. Exercise may increase your hot flashes, but it still will really improve your well-being and your bones overall.
So we're back to healthy living in general. The healthier you are as a person, the better this is going to be. And then, of course, there are some other things on the market that can help you with some of these symptoms. Have I summarized that pretty well for a guy who's not been through menopause?
And never will be.
And never will be. Yeah. All right.
One thing we might bring up now, Susie, did the progesterone cream help your libido and?
Oh no, it does some people. I'm a special case.
But it didn't help you.
It does. It is supposed to help, I think.
Well,
in general, but no, it hasn't.
So you might need a little testosterone.
But I've been using it for years too, and I probably.
All right. Well, we'll be right back with just a final question for Dr. Becky Chang.
Learn English and have fun.
We're back with just one final word. Ladies, is this all bad, or is there anything good about menopause?
Well, I think anybody that's had periods for, 30 years is like, well, if I don't have periods anymore, that's a great thing. You know?
What else?
Anything else? Is there good about it?
No more pregnancies.
No more pregnancies?
Don't worry about getting pregnant.
Beyond that, it's difficult to find.
I agree.
Yeah, because there's a whole lot of stuff that goes along with it that's not much fun, isn't there?
No, but there is a getting to the other side. I mean, Krista, you're still just right in the throes of it, but, you know, look at Gail and Patty and Susie and me and say, I'm going to be there in about 5 months. And with the progesterone cream, maybe sooner.
Oh, please say so, because I'm not looking forward to years of this.
No, we won't let you do that.
No more menopausal maniac.
Okay.
Please.
Menopausal maniac.
That's my coworker's name.
Oh, well, I have learned a new term today.
You guys are just delightful. You're not menopausal maniacs at all.
And we do want to thank you for being here. Special thanks to you for joining us. And if you would like more information on menopause, check out our website at lifestyle.org. Until next time, stay well. We'll see you again soon.